WAG. What is a WAG? I had no idea what this was before this week. You know, I'm from the States. We don't say WAG, but apparently this is huge in the UK. And apparently, Ian Machado Gary, his wife, is a WAG. So they say. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, let's start straight from the top. In this video, I'm going to be covering everything going on with Ian Garry, an MMA guru, and what stirred all of these rumors up, and ultimately why there's videos, and while Chael Sonnen is going into it, why Sean Strickland has commented on it, and ultimately next week against Vicente Luque. But anyway, let's start off. What is a WAG? So I looked it up on Urban Dictionary, and I'm going to put the definition up. A selection of over-publicized, vacuous anorexics found lurking at football matches, easily distinguished by their orange skin tone and high body plastic index, ostensibly present for the purpose of pleasuring the England football team, but in reality with the intention of being photographed, obtaining fashion advice from Chief WAG Mrs. Beckham in the hope that this will lead to a future appearance on Celebrity Love Island. So it seems like it's women who prey off of athletes and just are there for the image, the celebrity look, the popularity, and we'll get a little more to that. But I feel like there's a mix-in of definitions here and I mean context clues, right? So the whole thing this week is that Ian Garry's wife, Layla, the 40-year-old, and he's 26, is being called a WAG. So how this story starts is basically that the MMA guru, who I have to say is so thorough, just great job on these videos, and anytime he's attacked, he really 10-7s people. He goes in, he's thorough, finds dirt, and he comes out. So MMA Guru makes a video on Ian Garry a while back, and I guess Ian Garry eventually saw it. And now Ian Garry is shooting a documentary. Obviously, his wife is in, and there's just been a lot of criticism about him, his wife, their relationship, how she's kind of like the one wearing the pants, yada, yada, yada. In the video, Ian Garry decides to mention a fat bearded wanker. When he's talking about a fat bearded wanker, everybody turns and says, hey, that has to be the MMA guru. And obviously the MMA guru had made comments about him before. So Ian Garry is clearly attacking MMA guru, but without using his name. So obviously the MMA community lets the MMA guru knows. All the comments say MMA guru. He finds out about this video. MMA guru goes in and just finds this freaking bomb. This freaking bomb that puts Ian Garry in the worst corner of all time. And I'll get to that now. So he makes this video and he comes out with the best. It's just the presentation is great. And then when he finally announces it, it's just a great little clip. I'm going to put it right here.
Ian Garry, she wrote the book. She wrote the book.
So right now on the screen, what you're seeing is a book written by Layla and Lee. It's 2.1 stars, by the way. Freaking awful. 12.13 on Prime. And it says how to be a WAG. How to be a, oh, sorry, $4.99 on Kindle. So how to be a WAG. And he just breaks this apart in the sense of how are you going to say your wife is not a WAG when she wrote a freaking book on it? Because in the video, the documentary that Ian Garry made, he's reassuring that, oh, if she's a WAG or that if, you know, she told him something he didn't want to do or she's too controlling, they would sit down and have a conversation. Those are the clips that MMA Guru keeps playing. And it really does look like Ian Garry's trying to convince himself of that. She's there as like the 40-year-old woman who's like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hun. So anyway, he even goes far enough to play the audio sample, which I'm going to do.
Little music and everything. Natural beauty isn't really necessary. Fake boobs, hair extensions, acrylic nails, and dramatic false lashes envelop the look, and any girl can pull it off. But you're going to need a lot of TLC.
You guys got the picture. So she literally goes on to talk about how you need to get your breasts done and you need to invest money into it, the whole 9 yards. Now, they come out and say that this book is basically satire. But now you're at a point where it's like, Jesus, the irony. You're 26, she's 40. Is this a coincidence? She literally wrote a book on how to be a WAG, which, you know, we discussed that definition. And that's the problem you have in front of you. While she obviously is civil with her ex-husband, they're like co-parenting, and then he's obviously part of their life. He even mentions the guy's name, Curtis, in the video as if he was in the room. So like everything's pointing against Ian Garry. And I've said this before. I don't like the fact that we dig into these individuals' personal lives because they deserve their own personal lives and this and that. But when you're as attention-y as Ian Garry, when you're getting kicked out of gyms, when you're constantly in a publicity stunt, when you have Neil Magny's mugshot on your shirt, these are the things you're going to run into when you go around just calling people a fat wanker. These are the issues you're going to have. And then it only gets worse. He has shown signs of insecurity and him trying to defend these things. He's addressed them. When you clearly address this, it almost adds fuel to the fire. Whereas if he would just leave this alone, be confident in his relationship, his family, and the things going on in his life and just then address it, it kind of just dies out. People are going to talk, but it dies out. But now, when you're that attention-y guy looking for confrontation, these are the things that come to light. And then when you actually have videos of you telling your girlfriend, or I'm sorry, your wife, that, oh, you know, if you were a wag or if this, I would talk to you and stuff. It just shows that these are insecurities that you're having because the fans and the public is talking about them. So Ian Garry's in a really tight spot right now because I think it's a lose-lose scenario. Sean Strickland then goes on and makes a comment. Sean Strickland tweets and makes a couple videos on Instagram, but I'll just read you the tweet. You know, I never talk about a fighter's girl, but fuck, I almost feel bad for Ian Garry at this point, bro. Your girl is succubus. Sorry, bro. It happens to us all once. You got played. #wag. Hope you have a good prenup. Pretty disrespectful. Just no need for him to do that. Pretty attention-y of Sean himself. He could have just DM'd him if he really felt like he was looking out for him. And then Chael Sonnen makes a video. And that pisses off Ian Garry as well. Sorry, it pisses off Ian Garry. So Ian Garry has now addressed Sean Strickland, and he says that he wants to fight him and fight for the middleweight belt, and that now he's pissed off. This all might be genius, but at the same time, you're at a point where you've made yourself look like an ass in public. You've embarrassed yourself and your wife. All your personal issues are out there. It's a lose-lose. If he leaves her, which he's not going to do, I mean, what? Because the public's making comments about your wife, you're going to leave her? No. If you leave her, you're the idiot and the public was right. You feel like a fool. You had a kid with a 40-year-old. She's a wag. You stay with her. We've already ran into all these coincidences. MMA Guru came out with a video. It doesn't look too good either. Now he goes to fight Vicente Luque. And we're going to get a press conference next week. And I'm very, very intrigued to see this press conference because I think it could be fireworks or it could really show the downfall of Ian Garry. We don't know if he could handle this. He likes attention. He likes good attention. He likes knocking people out. He likes talking reckless. But he's never had to face a personal issue like this that everyone is kind of making him the laughing stock of MMA. And it's all due to a fat bearded wanker on YouTube who exposed his wife for being a wag and writing a book on how to be a wag. And then again, all the dots align. It all makes sense. It's not a coincidence. So I think Ian Garry's in a spot right now where he looks pretty foolish. And how he handles it from this moment on is going to say a lot about him as an individual. And it's going to kind of set him up for his career because if he kind of starts looking like an idiot now, or he steps into the octagon and is filled with emotion and trying to prove something, he might not be the Ian Garry that we've seen in this little superstardom street. So I think this is a really tough time for Ian Garry. And with all that being said, the only other possibility I think is that he doesn't care. And that he's just like a full-on narcissist. She's a full-on wag. She doesn't care as long as it brings in money. They're doing this for publicity, which is also a possibility. They like the fact that we're talking about them. They like the fact that they're calling her a wag and that there's videos and I'm making this video and everybody's talking about it and Twitter and this, that, the other. They like that. They like to be spoken about. And that would be some pretty sick shit, but it works. We'll find out soon, and I'm curious to know what you think. Oh, and just to add on, because I almost forgot, Dylan Dennis comes out, another attention-seeking whore, and he posts some DMs as if Layla had messaged him in 2018. I don't trust it. I feel like it's really easy to fake DMs, so I think they're probably fake DMs, but wouldn't that be something if 5 years ago she was DMing Dylan Dennis to maybe jump on that early superstardom train that she thought he would be? Let me know what you think and be sure to subscribe.